Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to a conversation about coronavirus. It seems that America is starting to be a little bit more concerned about what corona means for our wellness, and I wanted to reach out to experts I know around the world to help us prepare our bodies, prepare emotionally for the coronavirus. So this morning we have Dr. Millie Lytle with us, and I'm going to ask her to share some of her expertise around caring for our immune systems and caring for our bodies. So thank you so much, Millie, for being with us this morning.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about how a virus presents risk to our body and what that means for us.
Okay, sure. So I'm in America, so there's only about 13 cases, I believe, of documented of this COVID-D. I did live through SARS. SARS is also a coronavirus, or the illness caused by a coronavirus. So I was in Toronto at that time working at a hospital. So, I have that experience with the coronavirus. In terms of general virus etiology or how it presents, basically every virus would affect a specific area of the body. So the coronavirus tends to affect the respiratory system. So it affects the lungs. So if somebody is susceptible to getting the virus, which means that they are somehow either genetically or environmentally, or their immune system is low, then they're susceptible to getting sick from the virus, because of course viruses can be around us and we don't get sick. Then the virus will attack lung tissue, and then the body's response to fighting off the infection, it would generate inflammation over time, and it could be very rapid. If a person does get ill, in the case of the coronavirus, then cells of the lungs would be damaged. It would impact oxygen, the oxygenation of tissues, and over time, the liver or the kidneys could fail as a result of the coronavirus, and then a person could die. So in a nutshell, that's basically how the virus causes infection, inflammation, and then eventually organ failure.
Wow.
If it's carried to the extreme, of course, most people are recovering from the coronavirus. There's only the mortality rate is under 2%. So it's not, even though we're talking about it a lot, it has been deemed an emergency from the World Health Organization. It's not as virulent as, for instance, it spreads faster. There are more cases than SARS, but not as many people dying at this point. So,
right. So it's spreading faster and not as many cases.
Yeah, I mean, it's spreading faster in China. It's not spreading faster around the world. And most of the cases in China are hospital workers and those who are already hospitalized. So I was reading a case study. One of the first case studies has been published on who presented with the virus itself in the province of China where it's most virulent and where they have the most number of cases. And out of 138 patients, 40 were healthcare workers who treated. 58 of them were already in the hospital. They'd either had surgeries, they already had illnesses, they were older, above 60, and others were from the outside. So, making it look like if you're working with people and you're treating people who have the disease, or if you're already sick, then you're more likely to get this virus.
Yeah. So are there ways still, even knowing that, which, makes people take a deep breath out and relax a little bit.
Hopefully.
But even knowing that, what are some ways that we can just plan on being a little bit more healthy at this time and really just be the strongest self that we can in order to fight this if we are infected by the virus?
Yeah, so because there's no absolute way of knowing if you are an individual who is susceptible, other than if you are in the hospital, you are more susceptible. If you are already immunocompromised, you are more susceptible. If you are on immune modulating medications and your immune system suppressed, you are more susceptible to any virus. And just as if you are susceptible to the flu, which is much more virulent and much more death life-threatening than the coronavirus at this point. The things that you would do to raise your immune system and support your immune system would be to make sure you're getting proper rest, make sure you are not doing other things to compromise your immune system, such as taking a lot of sugar, drinking a lot of alcohol, also, of course, hand washing, keeping away from people who are sick, not going to the hospital to visit people if at all possible, or wearing a mask, not exposing yourself to any respiratory droplets, because that is how the virus is spread. So general self-care to raise the immune system, it sounds very simple, right? If you are ill already, then you need to be doing these things even more proactively. So if you have diabetes, for instance, or heart disease, then you are more at risk. Or if you've just had surgery, in that case, you definitely do need to be wearing a mask and making sure that you are, if you're in the position to have immune mushrooms, ginger and garlic, again, no sugar, very small amounts of alcohol or processed foods, and to really increase your vegetable fruit consumption. And I always recommend broths and soups, and the old wise tale of, chicken soup for the soul, not only good for the soul, but good for its carnitine content and its immune elevating content as well.
Yeah. So these are things that people can really focus on at home. I mean, these are things that people can take action with and just be really smart about it. I think the sugar issue is one that is really straightforward for people to take action on. And at a time like this, when there's high risk around you, I mean, depending on how risky it is for you personally, but just that there is this potential, that's something that's really straightforward and simple, but also seems to be a bit of a challenge for people. But what are things that you might recommend that they come to you for? So solutions that would be worked on if they came in to see you as a naturopath.
So things that I would recommend would be increasing vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is the best, single most immune elevator, which most of us need otherwise, both to stimulate our immune system as well as to help in recovery and strengthening our immune cells, and has been shown in studies to be as effective against the flu, if not more, than the flu shot, without the risk factors involved in vaccines. And so the vitamin D3, and I always recommend to take it with vitamin K2, would be my number one go-to to boost the immune system. If I, in my practice, if you will, I run a health club, so it's a virtual health club. So in virtual health club, I would recommend people do things more individually. But there are antiviral, in addition to ginger and garlic that I mentioned, and immune modulating, immune supporting mushrooms. There are, depending on what somebody's issue is, that would drive their immune system down, whether it is a lack of sleep, or whether they already have an immunocompromised situation, or if they can't help but be in crowds all the time, or if they do have sugar regulating issues, prediabetes, diabetes, or inflammation of other sorts, or asthma, et cetera, something else that would compromise their breathing and put them at further risk for, to catch a virus, or a harder time to recover if they did get the virus. Any virus. There are natural antiviral herbs. Elderberry, for instance, would be a great one, safe for children as well, that the whole family could take. So that's really easy to come by and can be taken as a tea or a syrup or a capsule. A green tea is also excellent and used worldwide, whereas elderberry tends to be more in Europe and in North America. No matter where you are in the world, because I know you're positioning this for the world at large, no matter where you are in the world, there's always local herbs that have antiviral capabilities. And so if you were to come seek treatment from me virtually, or if you were to go see someone local to you, then they would suggest antiviral herbs. And so green tea is absolutely something that's used in China, obviously, that people are taking on a daily basis. It does have antiviral properties, and I would use that in America as well.
Yeah. That's great. So you mentioned NatMed Coach, Natural Med Coach. Is that a place that people can start to learn how to care for their bodies in a different way?
Yeah, I run a self-care club. It's online, and so we have live presentations from health coaches and doctors, helping people supervise people in their self-care efforts. So that our approach is really primary care, self-care as primary care. So what we do at home is what creates health and wellness for us primarily. Going to the doctor, we all need to go to the doctors to make sure that we're well. But fundamentally, it's what we're doing 99% of the time when we're not at the doctor that equates for our overall health and well-being. So Health Club, Natural NatMed Coach has virtual health club, and during health club, we have these webinars and presentations from experts that you can become a member of the club, or you can just watch individual videos. You might be interested in their subject matter. And you've been on there as well. So I think we lost Dr. K. Not sure what happened to her.
Oh, you can't hear
there
me?
you are.
Oh.
No, you disappeared from the screen.
Oh, okay. I thought you could still hear me.
Yeah.
When I do that. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that this is really an important time for us to consider how we are taking care of ourselves, that we can't completely just go and depend on something to save us, that this really is about building our immune system. It's really about taking care of our bodies so that we are not in the category of vulnerable to this virus.
Yeah, prevention is definitely more important than treatment, considering many more people will not get the virus. And if we can prevent it, then that's ideal. If you do end up needing treatment, then it's available as well, holistically. But it's better to take care of yourself. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as Benjamin Franklin said.
Mm-hmm. And with that quote, how can people contact you and learn more about NatMed Coach?
So our website is natmedcoach.com, and it's natmedcoach.com. And so we have pages with natural health products, webinars that are archived that one can select through different topics. For purchase, we have some free ones as well that people can download, as well as become a member of our health club. We have integrative services, so if somebody needs more than just the virtual health club, then we also have health coaching and naturopathic medicine available as private clients.
Great. So thank you so much, Millie, for helping us understand a little bit more about what's really going on with this virus and how we can really exhale, take a deep breath out, relax, and just keep focusing on taking care of our bodies every day and being wise with our wellness. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.